If you're trying to find a folder that actually lets you get through a day's worth of invoices without stopping, that won't chew up counter space, and that feels solid enough to keep on your desk for years, you're probably weighing a lot more than just a list of specs. You want something that slides into the flow of your office, that you can set up once and then mostly forget about, and that doesn't end up being a money drain because you're constantly tweaking settings or fighting jams. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I've spent the last few weeks looking at a handful of desktop folding machines because my own firm moved from a fully manual process to a semi-automated one, and the Formax FD346 kept popping up in the same conversations as the other mid-range players. What caught my eye first was the color touchscreen. In a world where most of these machines still rely on tiny monochrome buttons, having a graphics-based interface feels like stepping into a small tablet rather than a traditional office appliance. That means you can select a job, adjust the fold type, and see a visual preview before the paper even hits the rollers. For someone who isn't a machine operator by trade, that reduces the mental load a lot. Let's talk about who actually benefits from that. If you run a small accounting office, a medical billing center, or a retail back office that handles dozens of receipts and packing slips each day, the FD346 500 sheet per hour rating translates to roughly 4.3 sheets per second. In practice, that means you could push a stack of 500 sheets through in just over a minute, which is fast enough to keep a single operator productive without turning the machine into a bottleneck. The telescoping output stacker is another practical win. You can extend it to accommodate larger output piles, or shrink it down when you're only dealing with a few sheets, keeping the footprint tidy on a crowded desk. Now, there's a flip side. The machine only folds documents up to 1,218 inches. That covers most invoices, letter-size forms, and standard packing slips, but if you ever need to fold larger legal-size contracts or tabloid-size flyers, you'll be out of luck. The touchscreen, while intuitive, is still a touchscreen on a machine that sits in a busy office. Some users have reported that fingerprints and smudges can obscure icons after a few days of heavy use, meaning you'll need to keep a cleaning cloth handy. It's not a deal breaker, but it's a small maintenance task you might not have thought about. Another hidden trade-off is the stacker wheels. They're adjustable, which is great because you can fine-tune the pressure for different paper thicknesses. However, that adjustment isn't something you'll touch every day. It's a one-time calibration when you switch from, say, a thin receipt roll to a heavier cardstock. If you're the kind of office that changes paper types multiple times per shift, you'll need to spend a minute or two each time to get the wheels just right, otherwise you'll see occasional misfeeds or uneven stacks. So, who should press the buy button? The sweet spot is a team of 1 to 3 people who need to process a steady but manageable flow of documents. Think a bookkeeping department, a small law firm's filing room, or a logistics office that prints and folds shipping labels daily. The price point, which lands it in the mid-range of desktop folders, makes sense if you're looking to replace a manual folding station that costs you time and a few strained fingers each day. The Formax's touchscreen cuts down on training time, and the adjustable stacker means you won't have to buy separate machines for different paper weights. If you run a high-volume operation that handles thousands of sheets per hour, or if you need to fold oversized forms regularly, you'll probably outgrow the FD346 pretty quickly. In those cases, a larger floor-standing folder with higher throughput and a wider size range would be a better investment, even if it means spending more upfront. Also, if you're a minimalist who prefers a no-bandial setup over a touchscreen, the learning curve, though not steep, might feel unnecessary. From the practical perspective, the machine's reliability seems solid. The 4-star rating from 55 reviewers suggests that most owners are satisfied, and there's no glaring pattern of failure in the publicly available data. The speed is realistic for a desktop unit. It won't magically process a stack of 10,000 sheets in under a minute, but it does keep up with a typical office workload. The color touchscreen isn't just a gimmick, it actually lets you preview the fold layout, which can save you from rerunning a job because you chose the wrong pattern the first time. On the downside, the machine does have a modest noise level. It's not a library, but it's louder than a typical office printer, so if you have an open plan space, you might want to place it on a vibration-absorbing mat. The footprint, while compact for a folder of its capability, still